Yeah, again, as always, like pictures are terrible in here. Just checking in, I guess, but kind of a important topic just for the hell of it. Well, happy Thanksgiving, F.E.A.R and F.E.A.R where applicable. Saying a lot, so I can cut that shit out. So, to F.E.A.R and family where applicable, some updates for this check-in for Thanksgiving. Got my hot sauces, uh, uh, blueberry ghosts. Fucker. Well, if it does, I'll have to redo the entire thing, I guess. Ooh. I enjoy the Reaper squeeze with the Twix. Pretty good. It's pretty good. Got a consistency like a last dab. Uh, again. The oxygen, once it gets in the bottle, activates the peppers, which makes it pretty potent. Trinidad Scorpion's pretty good. Blueberry Ghost, pretty good. Bravado. So, that's good. After these are finished, then I'll begin making my whatever pepper, because my whatever hot sauce. They don't have habaneros or anything hotter than essentially Serrano here, so it'll be a lower heat hot sauce, a lower one, because they have no hot peppers available here for just bell peppers, serranos. I think a poblano. I have yet to try that, but they do it's a serranos and jalapeno. That's the height of it. That's what I'll be working with. Mm. Next is this. Uh, uh, Appreciate the reflex scope and stuff. It works. And this, the holographic scope, it works. Appreciate it. God, fucking terrible. Um, but again with the others. So here for cancer. Try to get this out of the way. I'm going to go into a little bit of theoretical science, and I'm already tired of trying to get this mic to work. It's nonsense. Closed circuit garbage. So let's talk about the cure for cancer for a little bit. I'm going to drag my feet through it. But just for the hell of it. Okay, what is cancer defined as? Cancer is defined as a genetic mutation which, utilizing an overactive mitochondria of the red blood cell, performs cytokinesis forever, and cells last forever, essentially creating a tumor. This is what a tumor is, allegedly. The colony of cells that have essentially created cytokinetic. What the hell do they call it? A fucking. Just like a bubble. A damn stupid fucking bubble made of a cytokinetic cell. A shitty fucking pizza tumor bullshit. Okay. I have a couple of problems with this. And forgive me if I just generalize a little bit, because I'm a bit angry with this crappy microphone and the crappy things just in general that just don't work. I'm slightly irritated, slightly tired, and sometimes I just want to acknowledge things for the pieces of shit they are, as opposed to looking at them as some kind of like rosy-eyed piece of shit. Sometimes it takes a lot of effort. I would just not look at people who are pieces of crap or pieces of crap. It's work, but probably more work than that. There's a little bit of rudimentary research in this cancer. So to recap, go back to what I was starting, what I was talking about. 5 minutes in, 20 minutes left. Try to dumb all this shit down. Alright, so, cancer. Overactive mitochondria. Cells dividing too much cytokinesis. Genetic mutation. Brought on by some sort of alien outside factor. Radiation. Bad chicken. Who fucking knows? I don't know. But that's what they say, right? Cell dividing too much. How do we get rid of the cell dividing too much? Chemotherapy. Grabbing a electromagnetic plate with some kind of radioactive isotope that's not so dangerous to human flesh. Light up the motherfucker, and all good and bad cells, tissue and organs and bones or whatever the hell are all going to get nuked for the purposes of killing whatever the fuck is living inside of you. Nuke it. That's what chemotherapy is, right? Symptoms of dying of cancer. Emaciated, gaunt cheeks, low blood cell count. Okay, there's the open circuit contradiction in the standard scientific analysis of cancer as it is. How can they be dying of a lack of red blood cells or healthy red blood cells when they have red blood cell with an overactive mitochondria performing too much cytokinesis? In other words, so much red blood cells that it's actually cropped up in one fucking spot of their body, like their breast, their neck, chin, wherever the fuck the tumor is. They have an excess of red blood cells, not a deficiency. So why the hell are they losing hair? Based on that, essentially you cannot have a deficiency of something while having overabundance. There's the scientific oversight. So what is cancer then? Further to perpetuate or further evidence against the prospect, whatever they're saying about cancer being real or something. Or say, I'm not saying it's fake, okay. But as they present it, there's something wrong with it. I'm not saying it's fake, but there's something that you can take with whatever. I don't care if they take it. So I don't care. Essentially, blood cells move through veins, correct? They're pumped by the heart through the body, various organs and stuff, correct? So why would it infect a certain specific area of the body to create a set tumor? Granted, it really was just like overactive mitochondria and blood cells which travel through blood. Keeping in mind that red blood cells have a circadian life cycle, approximately 24 to 25 hours. That's why you have to sleep to punch blood cells. Right? About a day. You need to sleep some. 8 hours of sleep. Fair? Okay. So even if we had, granted, even if we had some sort of pseudo-cytokinetic cell inside of the bloodstream, even if we had something, why should it live past the 24-hour circadian cycle? Mitochondria, for people who don't know what that is essentially the power plant of the cell. It's what powers the cell. That's what it is. It's designed for a circadian cycle, 24 to 25 hours. Tops. Okay? So why should a tumor last 6 months? These are like supercells. These mitochondria, this genetic mutation, is essentially the equivalent of a cell going some kind of Super Saiyan or bullshit like that. It's fucking, a cell is lasting 6 months. Horse crap. Cells don't last that long. I mean, like, as if they could, these fucking cancer patients would be fucking wired. They'd never have to sleep. But it seems they can never get enough of the fucking sleep. They're fucking emaciated. Like skinny, gaunt cheeks, sallow eyes, and just in general is kind of sickly. Now, excuse my lack of sensitivity here. So, okay, what have we got here? A cell that essentially can defy the circadian cycle by having an overactive mitochondria, and while cytokinetically dividing over and over again, chooses to stay in a certain spot. No, that sounds like it sounds like an inflammation from the outside. Because if it was in a vein, as blood is, it would be across, like, an entire, like, say, main arterial vein path, or vein pathway, whatever the hell you want to call it. It would just be through your blood, through all of your muscles, not cropped up in a single fucking tumor. So I haven't written like a whole goddamn essay on this shit. I gathered my thoughts easier before, but just the prospect of recording it through this piece of crap has pissed me off. I'm trying not to think of it. So, essentially, we've got cells that can cytokinetically defy all known power conventions of the mitochondria of a red blood cell. And even if they could cytokinetically divide ridiculously, they should only have about the power plant of a regular red blood cell, which means even if they could divide like crazy, they still only have a 25-hour lifespan. It'd be more than enough time for your white blood cells to kill the motherfucking offending cells anyway. 2 days rest, you'd be fine for whatever the hell they call cancer. If that was really the case. Now, as far as, because I mean, we've just like the symptoms of being poisoned, those types of things, like when things pass through your blood, they generally, unless there's like a bite mark specifically, let's say you were bitten by a snake, like the impact wound of like the fangs of a venomous snake, like a black mamba, something like that, like there's an inflammatory bit there. Your body's basically inflaming up and trying to basically close off that those entry wounds, whatever. Trying to push out whatever pus, whatever the hell is venom outside of it, so no more can enter. That's an inflammation. That's what a tumor is, a giant bump. That's something that came from outside. People are going to argue this because, I don't know. Forget that. I'm thinking. But the point is, the rest of the body, or let's just say ingested poison. Let's say you drank some cyanide. Does it create a tumor? No. It basically, it's passing through your blood. And the reason why I bring this up is because cancer is basically just cells dividing, moving through your bloodstream, not effectively grasping onto any particular tissue in general. It's your cells, not your tissue. What I just described is tissue exposure to poison. Cancer is just a genetic mutation by which your cells keep dividing, according to all scientific knowledge of it, or all known scientific knowledge of it. Now, there is a virus, historically speaking, that does have the symptoms of, say, basically like kind of a swelling around surface area contact of the skin. These growths would grow to the size of, they'd basically be like about the size of baseballs, in some cases, in the most extreme cases, basketball. In the old days, this is our only cite or notation. This is Journal of a Plague Year by Daniel Defoe. The plague. Now, I'm not suggesting that this is really the plague, but perhaps a relative of it. Because No one will basically be like, what I'd like to see is cancer under a microscope. If you can discern it as a virus, if you can see it as a virus, what strain is it relative to? Everything points to some kind of a plague retrovirus, something like basically some kind of a weaponized or kind of neutered down plague. No longer contagious via inhalation or contact, but enough to, as the symptoms say, just kind of make you bedridden. A little one. Knock you on your ass. Which could be the release of one of these PMCs going crazy or whatever the hell it is, some sort of biological weapon that's no longer, I guess from a monetary sense traced or whatever the hell you want to call it. That's what I don't know. It seems like that's what that is. If it was, as they say it is, the two contradictions in their scientific analysis of cancer is they claim you have an overabundance of cells, yet the symptoms are being emaciated, not being able to move, to the point where you can't, where your hair is all falling out. So a lack of cells, then. Gaunt, sallow cheeks, etc. And furthermore, they're doing chemotherapy by pretty much like having some kind of a skin-safe, like kind of radioactive isotope and running electricity through it. Not like a defibrillator or whatever, to basically, which is just like kind of a metal plate and some electricity and some skin-sensitive horseshit. You basically just run electricity through it, cause a contraction, and like just pretty much align the electrons in the flesh, the carbon. Heart contracts when it's basically like seized up, and hopefully when it releases, you can, based on the property of like what do you call it, lower concentration in the heart and higher concentration outside of the heart because it's seized. When it lets up, blood gets sucked into the heart. You jumpstart the heart. That's how a defibrillator works. Theoretically, that's kind of how chemotherapy works. It has that aspect of the electrons pretty much aligning within your carbon-based life form body. But at the same time, there's like that radioactive plate in order to kill all the bullshit inside of you, whether it be good or bad cells. So you're effectively lowering the blood cell count inside of your patient while there's already something proven to do that in their body. So likely this lesser version, what appears to be a lesser version of the plague, isn't really killing the people. It's the chemotherapy. The chemotherapy is lowering their red blood cell count. And they're just dying on the bed while these people are essentially killing off their good and bad blood cells. Now, I'll be honest with you, I have to basically kind of monitor my own kind of health and well-being to some degree with all the weird crap that happens around here. Ugh. Point is, lots of contradictory information concerning the origin of cancer. How and if it's treatable. And just how it works in general. Lots of missing information. So, the cure for cancer, because furthermore, that radioactive kind of electric plate aligning all your carbon atoms and then fucking like just nuking all your fucking red blood cells and shit, and your white blood cells, possibly based on the fucking like aggressively moving electrons being fucking excited by that increased heat and electricity, whatever the hell it is, through that fucking like through the chemotherapy. That's gonna just like shred you up on the inside, right? It's gonna fuck up your cells. It's gonna create the problem. Like if there was a possibility of some sort of genetic mutation in the cell, I think fucking up the RNA and DNA within it via some really aggressive electron paths around about this chemotherapy in their fucking chest. like this fucking like steel plate, whatever the hell it is underneath that little piece of rubber. Like that is gonna fuck some shit up. If there was a chance that there was like some genetic mutation, that would be it. That would raise the chances of genetic mutation, or more than likely, because what hostile electrons from highly radioactive isotopes and things of that nature do once an electric current is run through it, what they usually do is they just tear a fucking cell apart. They don't leave it alive for it to mutate. They just shred it. Like most aggressive electron paths that you see are generally in a shock wave of an atomic explosion. Slow that down a couple fucking thousand times over, and you got what's happening to your red blood cells and organs and shit. So, cure for cancer? I mean, if people get like a shit ton of funds from this for research on this, and it is like some sort of a plague thing based on some sort of PMC's misdeeds, and this is all hypothetical, whatever, then you're not going to see much of a change. They've now got like a money, like a cash cow. No pun intended for the people paying attention. That's potentially disgusting, but point is, cancer, like many other viruses or many other things that kill people, nowadays cannot be. I'd like to see it under a microscope. Not a mutated damaged cell that was basically chemotherapy half to death, but cancer, the virus, working. And if it has a strain, what strain is it most similar to? Because the plague basically came into existence and disappeared in the public lexicon before we had our common medical, the way we basically deal with shit. People had developed a tolerance to it by the time we created probably Grey's Anatomy and all that other crap. For the most part, all of our modern medical wonders just started after the plague had essentially kind of left people's minds. So it'd be the perfect virus to just turn into something crappy. So, anyways, I'll keep you updated and try to basically speak in a way that is not complete nonsense. Or maybe I'll write this down on a piece of paper sometime. But until then, happy Thanksgiving. Stay safe. And be careful when someone like gets a piece of plate metal with like some kind of weird new radioactive isotope and fucking runs electricity on it, rams it against your heart.